Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. As always, we are broadcasting from this beautiful Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. I want to morph two conversations together, two topics as one, and we'll start with this. Around 2:30 on Tuesday, Shams of The Athletic reported that the 76ers are expected to be interested in James Harden, and they will pursue. Wow, that is a big bomb. That's something you don't scroll over when you see that on the homepage of any website. That would be an absolute volcano eruption if that was to happen. Because when you look at this roster, while in your head you might want to think Al Horford, Tobias Harris, first-round picks, that's not going to get the job done. And knowing and seeing Daryl Morey's reactions with Joel Embiid, FaceTiming, posting things on Twitter, he would be an evil human being to show that type of care towards a star in this league and then ship his ass out. What? A couple weeks later, a month later? I mean, I just don't see how that is possible with the way that he is very tied together with Embiid. So with that being said, there's only one other person on this roster, and that would be Ben Simmons. Would I give up Ben Simmons for James Harden? Right now, I don't think that I would. I am someone who can be patient in certain areas, in certain spots when it comes to sports. Not a lot of individuals can do that. It's about the right now. Give me the right now. I only care about in this moment. While when you look at a franchise and an organization, there is clearly a blueprint of a long period of time. You would be a bad front office if you only thought about this instant in this exact moment. You need to have a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. So you can see, all right, where are we? What is our identity and things of that nature? With Ben, if you told me Ben Simmons on his best day in the world, when he is dominating at an all-time high, when he is the Ben Simmons where you say, damn, this is what I need every night. This is the version that I would love to see in the postseason. If we can get this Ben Simmons, we are talking about the Prince. We are talking about someone who can constantly drop a triple-double. Now, it might not be a 35-point triple-double, but let's say a 24, 13, and 10 type performance where he clearly takes over the game and he's dominant defensively. When you see Ben Simmons play at the top of his top, is that better than James Harden and where he is? Because let's be honest with ourselves. If you're talking about a James Harden in this trade, 30, 31 years old, well, don't you think that he is what he is at this point? There's not much room to separate himself from where he is now to the best player in the league. And I'm not saying you can only win when you are the best player in the league, but when you look at James Harden, I feel this is who he is, right? And while some might say, fine, pair him up with Joel Embiid, I feel, and this is just me personally, I'm not saying trading Ben Simmons would automatically be the wrong decision because I see the alternative. I see that it's James Harden. So, yeah, you know what? He is a hell of a basketball player. He's been to the Western Conference Finals handful of times. He's been to the finals as well if you go back to that OKC Thunder team, but a totally different spot in his career. It's hard to compare that to the identity of James Harden now and what he has been over the last handful of seasons. The Rockets consistently went up against the Warriors in the postseason, so I think it's fair to say they've only gotten to a certain area when it comes to the postseason as a unit, with James Harden being the guy, with James Harden being that X factor. You need to realize going up against Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, is it hard to knock them? Is it hard to say you suck as the star player because you couldn't beat that team? That would be so hypocritical considering I'm a LeBron James man, and with LeBron James, I give him not a free pass, but you gotta see. You gotta have eyeballs. When he has Dellavedova, no Kevin Love, no Kyrie Irving, and you're going up against the Golden State Warriors team, there's only so much that you can do. There's only so much you can get done. So with James Harden, How much stock can you put into where he got in the playoffs throughout his career? And factor this in. If Ben Simmons was traded for James Harden, is he the best player? I would think it would still be Joel Embiid. So, yeah, you know what? He got to a certain point in the postseason being the guy. But if James Harden is not the guy and it's Joel Embiid and James Harden is that added bonus to him, they could play that inside-out game. Giving Joel Embiid to the ball down in the post would totally bring a different element defensively, because now if you double-team Joel, okay, I'll kick it out to James Harden. Okay, we have an elite specialist. Oh, let's talk about getting to the free throw line. That's something that those two would absolutely be capable doing. With all that into consideration, without knocking James Harden, because I'm not trying to say that he is some bum, he's nobody, I wouldn't want him on my team or in my franchise at all. I personally can't go away from Ben Simmons. I can't. I will I will sink with the Ben Simmons ship. That totally just mind-fucked the living hell out of me when I was trying to get that sentence out. I will sink with the Ben Simmons ship. If it doesn't work, fine. But I need to take my chance. I have to make this opportunity play itself out. You have a chance with Ben Simmons. It's been stressful. It's been frustrating. It's been definitely bad at times. 24. Just turned 24. He played for you 22, 23. You need to grow in this league. You have to. And I value more of the longer term with Ben Simmons than, let's say, a 2-year window with James Harden. You might think this automatically brings them a championship, but that's not being honest with yourself. Just like this would work, right? Just like Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Josh Richardson, just like that was an automatic trip to the finals because they had the best starting five on paper and they had tremendous talent, right? Absolutely not. That failed miserably. You needed to move on from a lot of pieces in-house. It got ugly, and you're going to have to see roster moves as well. You convinced yourself that that wasn't automatic, that this team was so talented that no matter who came up against them, they were built to go up against the Bucks. They were built in the offseason to face that team and destroy them, take them out in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what we were told. That's what you told yourself every single night before you went to bed. And we all fell flat on our faces once we saw the sweep by the Boston Celtics in the NBA bubble. The Sixers became the Dallas Cowboys. They were not competitive. They just rolled over and died when teams started to take control. And when I say teams, I'm saying the Boston Celtics in 4 straight games where the Sixers didn't even have a damn chance. With Ben Simmons, I get it. The shooting is going to be something we talk about. I am willing to sacrifice a couple years knowing that in professional sports there is a growing area. There is a time where players need to experience pain, experience games, experience heartbreakers so they can build into who they are going to be. So they can take all of those experiences, attack the NBA lifestyle, attack the NBA game with the proper knowledge. Michael Jordan wasn't Michael Jordan as soon as he stepped into the NBA. He would lose to tough opponents, to the bad boy Pistons, to other squads, and he would have to grasp all the data, grasp all the film, take it into his body, put it all into account, and then go attack the following season. With Ben Simmons, based off the fact that I believe that he will one day be the guy where you think this man is a force. This man is unbearable. I don't know how you can stop him attacking the rim. He can make his free throws. He can take some mid-range shots. He can take some corner threes. When he gets there, and I feel that will be 27 years old, 28 years old, 29 years old, because I base this off of what I know about NBA titles, NBA teams that are constructed to win championships. I know that's the age that you are at when it's time for you. when the basketball gods open the sea and they part the sea for these players to say, this is my league, this is my championship, I'm going to go kick some ass. Guess what age they are? There's outliers. There's always outliers in everything. Majority of the time, it's a star that's 28, 29, 30, 31, right? And that goes back to, because James Harden is in that 30, 31 range, it goes back to, if I look at both, and I look at the window that Ben Simmons can give you compared to the window that James Harden can give you, also, I think Ben Simmons and his ceiling is better than what James Harden's ceiling is. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't think it would be wrong for you to say do it, because James Harden is a special talent. He is someone who can give you 45, 50 points. He's a walking 35-point individual. When was the last time you had that in Philly? Well, you do kind of have it in Joel Embiid. Not 35. That's obviously aggressive, but he's a walking 25-10, easy, blindfolded. Pair those two up, and hold on a second. But I think after all these changes, after everything involved, getting a new front office, getting a hell of a head coach and assistants with him, getting the shot with Ben Simmons is something I want to see Doc Rivers get. All right, so in regards to Ben Simmons, I want to play some of the audio cuts that we got from Daryl Morey on the Sports Bash on 97.3 on Tuesday's show. So he does mention Ben and Joel and how any NBA team would love to have them. And now it's not playing. Good. Yeah, this is perfect. All right, let's get to these audio cuts now. I apologize for that horrendous stoppage of play. Any NBA team would love to have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Ben and Joel, two stars in their prime, 24, 26. I mean, that's what you dream in the NBA to have. I mean, and most of the NBA teams would be dying to have either of them. So we're going to build around them, and Doc and myself are going to put the right pieces around him.
All right, so he did mention Ben Simmons, and he said, look, when you're thinking about a roster, when you are someone looking at a roster, all you can dream about is a 24 and 26-year-old star. I do feel there's some cliche answers involved, which is not surprising. But in the back of my mind, knowing how aggressive he is, knowing his background, knowing what he has done before, is he playing a game? Is this what the next level GMs do? They make you feel comfortable. They make others around you think, hold on a second, there is something in Ben Simmons. He tries and raise the stocks of these players. So when people pick up the phone, it's, dude, are you serious? You think I'm giving up Ben Simmons for that? Or when he calls other people around the league, he's going, dude, I got Ben Simmons. Let me tell you about him. It's building the stock of Ben Simmons by praising him so much, by saying this is all you could ever dream of when you go to sleep at night. There's something fishy about this. I honestly do feel that there's something fishy, and maybe we're not accustomed to great GMs and great presidents and phenomenal elite people at their jobs, but is this how they operate? I think it is very reasonable to maybe question that. More on Ben and Joel, getting players to fit around these two superstars in their prime.
We've got two superstars in their prime. I think a big challenge is how do we improve them? That's going to be Doc's challenge. And then the fit of the players around them, the other players around Ben and Joel, how do we do that, in a way that, unfortunately other teams aren't out there trying to figure out how to help us out.
Yeah, no doubt. And there is no doubt about it that Daryl Morey is a good dude, laid back, funny, got some sarcasm in him. Him and Howard Eskin were going back and forth on the press conference on Monday. I thought that was great execution out of him. And I'm sure that he was informed, hey, this guy, this is Howard Eskin, and he's going to give you hell, and he's going to give you shit. And he's probably thinking, yeah, you know what? There's plenty of guys who do the same thing in Houston, because all of these markets, all of these sports markets, they have media members like Howard Eskin that gets on people's nerves and likes to poke the bear and push buttons. But I thought he reacted well, and he just seems like a good dude, a good down-to-earth guy who has some humor, talking about how other teams aren't just willing to give stuff up to the 76ers. Those last two clips, though, he's talking about, specifically this last one, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, but then he gets into the fact that he's got to surround these two players with the right pieces. They need to make sure they go out and get that fit. Well, he is mentioning Ben Simmons' name. Now, clearly, if he didn't, it would be way more suspicious, and we'd be on him more than we already are. I personally, though, wouldn't be able to do it. I feel his ceiling is so obnoxious. And I feel that there are a lot of Sixers fans unhappy with him based off of the frustration. You see the open jumpers, you know what he can be, and he's not giving that to you. The ability to be patient is rewarding. The ability to face some adversity mentally, physically, when thinking about Ben Simmons, the rewarding can be a rainbow. And with that rainbow, at the end, there's a pot of gold. And that pot of gold is an NBA championship. And with that NBA championship comes a parade. And with that parade comes a lot of beer and a lot of tears. And I'm signing up for that. Could it happen with James Harden? Possibly. But I don't think it's as automatic as some might think because of the name James Harden.
Doc told me he's going to have the number one defense, so let's go. I'm excited about that. And we just need to get that offense in the top 10, and now we're a championship contender. That's a formula for winning. That was their formula for winning in Boston with Doc in 2008. Number one defense in the league. I think offense was like 8 or so.
I love that. I absolutely love that. The moment I heard him say the number one defense, Doc has his eyes set on the number one defense, I had goosebumps running through my body because I love defense. I love defense. I live for defense. On the streets, outside, I see people playing hoops. I'm like, yo, sub me in. I take a charge. They're like, dude, did you really just take a charge? I say, no, it was a block. I got there too late, and I check him the ball because I wasn't fast enough to get to my damn spot and set my feet. I love defense. Hearing about defense makes me excited, and there's no doubt that it's harder to convince NBA players to play defense. It's harder to do that. It really is. Scoring, teaching them offense, yeah, that's an easier philosophy. Getting the buy-in to make sure that these players are given 100% defensively, it's a different type of beast out there. Now, not only did I want to touch on the Daryl Morey cuts, but I got a couple anytime hotline calls. The phone number is 856-442-9805. You can call in at any time. I want to react to their thoughts on this. But before we do, DraftKings has brought their expertise to legal sports betting. It's a legitimate sports book based right here in the U.S., so you can rest assured that your funds are totally secure. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdrawal at your convenience. Listen to this deal. All new users have a chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Download the app and sign up using promo code BRODES, BRODES. Head to the app now, check out all that they have to offer, including player props, live betting, and so much more. If sportsbooks are not yet available in your state, don't forget about the DraftKings Fantasy app, which offers millions of dollars in total prizes every single week. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's see what the people have to say.
Brodes, this is Mike Rotundo. Big fan. We normally see eye to eye on a lot of different topics. I really never disagree with you 99.9% of the time. Things you say, I agree with. That being said, this happens to be one of those 0.1% chances where I cannot believe what you just tweeted. I read your tweet, and you said I would never trade Ben Simmons for James Harden. Brodes, let me talk to you real quick.
Before you get into your details and you try and sell me your spiel on why I'm ridiculous, I said it. I said, I don't think that you are wrong to want to make this trade. Like, I'm not saying the alternative is some horrendous player. You're getting a freak of nature back and someone who can score and someone who could theoretically pair well with Joel Embiid. I love thinking about what Ben Simmons can be. And I know my vision of what Ben Simmons can be is something that I can't allow walk out that door. I can't allow that individual to leave this city and head to another area, and then we have to watch him do what I think that he can do in a different city. There's just no way. I will sink with the ship. If this does not work out, fine, but I can't pass up on this type of potential. It's too great for me.
I understand Ben Simmons' value and his ceiling and his potential in this league. And he's a special elite talent on the defensive side of the ball. He's great in transition. He's a heck of a point guard. But he needs his own team. He needs a team built around him with shooters, unless he is going to shoot. That's just the reality. You can say that you can make it work, you can do this, you can do that. Well, how come it's going to take 3 different new coaches and 2 different new owners? And I get that. Sometimes an organization needs that to get these 2 to work well together. It's not rocket science. It's the fact that he doesn't shoot. If you pair up James Harden with Joel Embiid, not only is that 60 free throws a night, that's 2 guys who can score at any moment in crunch time. You cannot double Joel Embiid no longer if you have a guy like James Harden on your team. A guy at that caliber can score on anybody in any situation. He can elevate and get to his spot. He can go to the rim, and he can draw contact. And he's a shooter. He shoots the lights out. That's all Joel Embiid needs. I would drive Ben Simmons there tomorrow. I'll drive him. I'll drive him to Houston. For James Harden, are you kidding me? Now, would I trade him for Chris Paul? Absolutely not. Would I trade him for Bradley Beal? Hell no. But James Harden, come on, bros. You're better than that. Harden and Embiid would be the best duo.
I think that's an overreaction. I honestly feel you're getting sucked into thinking and imagining that this is definitely 100% bringing you an NBA championship because of the name James Harden. I'm not claiming that he is not a good basketball player. I'm not claiming that he's not one of the best in this league. But if you want a 2-year chance compared to something that could be way more special than that, then fine, you're entitled to that opinion. I can't do it. Now, in terms of, you mentioning 3 coaches, why is it taking this front office? Brett Brown has been there for 7 seasons, all right? So Brett Brown was the only coach to be able to have a real attempt at cracking into this. One coach isn't enough for me to say, all right, I give up. Will there ever be a time where I give up? Maybe. Maybe there is. Maybe it will click in at some point that this is who Ben Simmons is. He will never add to his game. He won't ever just be a decent 3-point shooter. He will never take mid-range jumpers. Maybe one day that is the mindset that I go with, and I will come to that conclusion. Until I do, though, I don't care if it's James Harden. With all due respect, James Harden is a great talent in this league. He's not LeBron. He's not Giannis. He's not Kawhi Leonard. He's not Kevin Durant. He's not Steph Curry. He's not on that level. If we're talking about a player on that level, then yes, I would be more open to a Ben Simmons trade. I don't see that right now, though. I don't. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm staying with Ben Simmons.
I don't think I would trade Ben Simmons for him at all because Ben Simmons is not worth what James Harden can give you. Ben Simmons is about to enter his prime in the next couple of years, and he will dominate the league and be Defensive Player of the Year at multiple of those years. He's the best 1 to 5 defender in the league. I would not trade him for James Harden, although James Harden is a very consistent scorer and he can give you much spark on the floor. I feel like Ben Simmons has so much value because of how well he will do in the upcoming years. Overall, I don't agree with the Sixers going after James Harden.
I feel like me and you are on the same page. We're in a similar position. You're looking at a player who's entering his prime. Daryl Morey used the word prime. I don't think he's there yet. This is an age where he's still developing, he's still learning, he's still adapting, he's studying how the game is played with 30-plus-year-old men who dominate with a different level of physicality. It's a different type of beast. He's not in his prime yet, but he definitely is starting. I want to hear more from Daryl Morey, though, and he talked about the Eastern Conference, and I wonder if he's thinking about that Eastern Conference, how much does that change your opinion on going after James Harden? Because the Eastern Conference isn't as strong as the West.
yeah, I'm really happy to be in the East, and I'm really happy for the Golden State juggernaut to be at least a little bit diminished. To be fair, I actually think they're still the best team in the West. Don't tell the Lakers or these other teams. Like Golden State, I think, is going to be a monster next year again.
All right, well, I didn't actually mention it in that audio cut. Maybe I did miss that one. I just want to double check before I move on, because I think it is interesting to think about how he views the Eastern Conference. Okay, looks like I didn't have that one cut up. Would you be more willing to go after James Harden knowing, hold on a second, let me look at the East, let me look at the competition. Can we go out and beat the Milwaukee Bucks with a James Harden? Can we beat the Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics with the James Harden and Joel Embiid? I don't think Joel Embiid is going to get traded. I don't think anything else gets the deal done. So that's why I'm specifically bringing up Ben Simmons in the conversations, because I know you want to feel like you can trade a bunch of slop like Shake Milton and Furkan and Matisse and Al Horford to get a James Harden with a couple first-round picks, but that is not going to go down. And to anticipate the Houston Rockets willing to be so damn open and so damn honest with Daryl Morey, go, yeah, you know what? Let's trade together. Let's go do this. You know what? You just left us. Let's talk. Let me call Philadelphia so we can get on the same page. In what universe is Houston ready to rock and roll with a ton of deals with the 76ers and Daryl Morey? And oh, by the way, I got to give credit to Josh Harris, because the money being reported for Daryl Morey, no wonder why he went back to work. There was speculation that he wanted to take time off. He didn't want to take another job. He didn't want to accept. What he wanted to do was relax a bit. Well, when you get offered that type of money, and in a pandemic where in this city you have the same exact sports teams going with a different philosophy, for example, John Middleton and the Philadelphia Phillies saying, I'm going to pinch my pennies. I'm going to keep my hands in my pockets. I got to appreciate what Josh Harris is doing. I'm almost stunned, and I feel like I want to faint, but I'm thrilled at the same time. I might faint, but I'm super thrilled. He's willing to spend money, and he's willing to change this franchise for the better when it comes to winning basketball games. I questioned him all the time about what type of owner he is. Is he a guy that just cares about money and just cares about business, jersey sales? When you drop that type of cash, and it might go hand to hand, it might go he wants to win, and at the same time he wants to keep the fan base happy because he was feeling like he was losing them with the sweep and with Brett Brown and with the noise about how the front office wasn't structured properly. I feel that has to be factored into the equation. I'm sure that was in the conversation of, okay, what do we do next? We can't lose the fans. So there's definitely a business side to this as well. But he fished out a lot of money. He fished it out. Here, take this. Come, please. I'm happy that we're in this position, though. I am. I'm just curious how it's going to all play out. I'm not trading Ben Simmons, though. I know that. I need to let you know about my friends at Orbit Energy and Power. With over 20 years of experience in the industry, they are home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. They are dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely by offering flexible financing solutions, such as $0 down. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So check out their information. It's all down below. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.